And we're live. Good evening, everyone. Nicky Hawkins, West Ham Fan TV, here once again for another West Ham Fan TV live and uncut. We do these every Thursday. Normally, me and my mate Ryan Archer sit here and do them, but I thought I'd pull in a couple of guests tonight because he's ill. Danielson, how you doing?
Not bad, mate. Not bad, mate. Seems like it's been a while since I've been on one of these live ones. So,
just you work for us, or just you work for TalkSport nowadays?
Yeah, I know. Trying to tap me up, mate. I turned them down. Don't worry, I turned them down. So, still West Ham Fan TV.
Improved contract offer. As we've got a little bit of an cat's on the table. We've got a bit of an anomaly. We're going to pull in an extra guest tonight, so we're going to have three of us in. Let me introduce him. You know him from the fan cams. He's the one that's not Dom. It's Marshy. Here he is, Marshy.
You all right, boys?
How you going, mate?
Yeah, good, boys. You?
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Right, so the way this works, boys, I know we have never done it together before. I know a couple of you've done it when I was away in Mexico. We're just bringing up subjects. We're free rolling. Anything you want to talk about, let's talk about it. Everything and anything West Ham. I've written 3 subjects down in the title tonight. So the first ones that I've got, because there's so much to talk about, I couldn't decide on one title. There's no money in January. Has anybody heard this?
I literally just see the post from your old mate Claret and you. I just saw it about half hour ago. I just saw that post and I tweeted out just saying it's like an endless cycle, because this reminds me of times gone by, you know, where things seem to take a bit of a nosedive and they go, right, we're not going to invest any money in January. So no surprise there at all, really.
Does he deserve money in January? Marshy?
Well, I think potentially he does. I think people are going to want to see that, you know, albeit he's had 150, 200 million to spend already in the last, 18 months. I think it's maybe essential that they give him maybe a little bit of a go, but then you can't get the players that we maybe essentially need on the cheap, can you? So this is going to be an interesting one.
The thing is with the deserve it, right? The way I see it is if you don't have confidence in the manager enough to back him with, you know, the funds that he needs or wants or players that he wants, then sack him. Like, you know, that's what they say, either back him or sack him. And that's what I believe. If they have lost that much confidence in him, they don't want to invest, then get rid of him. Simple as.
It's not surprising. I'm going to tell you why there is no money, which is going to be quite interesting to people. They are taking back £40 million this January, in loan repayments. Obviously, they could delay it, but it's sort of better the devil you know than the devil you don't, if that makes sense, or a double-edged sword, if you will, because if they don't take it, then we'll still owe them money. What would you rather do? Would you rather give them the money or give them back their money?
I feel it's a tough one, isn't it? But they should have been paying this off and taking this off bit by bit in manageable installments over time. When we heard that we were still, was it a couple of seasons ago? I think it was Bilic, when we still had Bilic, and we heard we were still in like 80, 90 million pound debt or so. The debt was still near enough, you know, the same. So why have they not been taking little 10 million here, 5 million here? Now they want to take a big lump sum. It's
interest. This is interest.
Well, yeah. That's why, exactly, when you look at it that way. But from a moral standpoint, then it begs the question again. 2021 is the time when they can sell without giving anything back. Are they trying to recoup all their money back and then sell? You know, that's an interesting one. They would, if they had a long-term, you know, investment in the club, why would they then want to take out a big chunk back all of a sudden? It's very interesting.
I agree. I think it should be done over a considerable sort of time, you know, maybe a bit here, bit there, instead of going in for the sort of, you know, 40 million or whatever, because then that doesn't free up that sort of money to like spend and strengthen where we need to sort of, and clearly need to get a few more bodies in to support some of the better players and take some maybe sort of, you know, ache off of them, if you know what I mean. It's tough.
A lot of people in the chat room tonight all getting involved, of course. Steve Tiley says he's skipping forward ahead to something that we're going to talk about later on. Roberto cannot be in goal against Spurs. Son Goku says Pellegrini out. Hammer 123 says get Mike on. He's not happy with you, Marshy.
Nah, not good enough, mate.
Arsenal FC fan club, Man City supporters says Man City and Arsenal. Love, hearts, kisses. You're in the wrong place, mate. back to the subject that we were just talking about. Edward Ria says, sell one of our players like Wilshere and get some money. What's the... Hold on. Where's the next one? and Kelly Sutherland says, Wilshere is not worth it, a packet of ham. Duvet Dancer says, I read on Claret and you that Pelly is working with Roberto. What the fuck? Neil from Down Under, evening all from South Australia at 5:48 on a Friday morning. The thing is, boys, it's a tough one with the money. Like, I'm at the moment, I'm in the camp where I don't want to. I don't think he can carry on as manager. Do you know what I mean? And to give him another, wedge of money, whatever it may be, I don't know whether they're going to trust him, and I'm leaning towards that's the right move, unless they replace the manager, and that's going to cost a wedge.
They're going to have to. I mean, I think he's still got another year after this, isn't it? Like, he's after the end of the season, he's got another season on his contract, so they're still going to have to let him go early if he's not the man to take us forward. Otherwise, we're going to have him for a whole another season. But yeah, I mean, looking at January, obviously we're short up top. There are loans and stuff, and it's difficult to buy then. So, I mean, look, if we don't spend big money in January, I'm not going to be completely angry about it. But it's just the reasons why we're not spending is the things that wind me up.
I don't look. We're light in places. That's for sure. Like, we're light in midfield. I would say we're light in defence, but we're not really when you think about. We've got 2 left backs, 2 right backs. Whether they're the right ones or not, I don't really know. And 4 centre halves when you count Winston and Reed. Why he's been swapping Balbuena in for Ogbonna, I don't know. I see in a press conference that he was saying it's just like to be fair to Balbuena because he sat on well, that's not the way football works. I'm afraid. You know what I mean? Like, Ogbonna has been one of our players of the season, I would say. You know what I mean? Not just in the last month or so, like one of the players of the season, I think. So that's crazy. I see stuff from, Merson and whatnot talking about just before the Sheffield United game, talking about Pellegrini. And Pellegrini was doing an interview and he was saying like, yeah, well, we know the way Sheffield United play. They like to knock it up. And Merson said at the time, well, no, they don't play like that. They don't play like that at all. They play some nice football on the floor and a passing game and, on the break and all that. They don't pump it up at all. He goes, and if that's what he thinks, I'm really worried for West Ham because he obviously isn't doing his homework. I
don't think prepares in the. I think maybe other teams look at us and see us as a. They want to play us every week. Teams are not afraid to come down to London Stadium, and we sort of don't have a plan A, let alone B, when we concede the sort of goals in the manner that we do, and then we're sort of we're letting teams come onto us, and I don't think we're lining up in the right way, and I generally don't think he knows what his first 11 is even now.
I think we've got the players to get out of it as we are. I think we've got the players. Like, even if worst comes to worst and no one come in, I think we've got the players to do well. But it's just, would I give him the money? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't give him the money. But then that's down to them. I to be honest, when it comes to money in football, I don't really care because it's not my money. You know what I mean? I pay my money at the gate at the beginning of the season. And if someone turns around and goes, oh, well, we can't do this because it's going to cost £80 million to get set up, so what? It's not £80 million of my money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you want to own a football club, that's the sort of fucking figures you've got to be talking about. You know what I mean? If you can't afford them sort of figures, get out of the fucking club and let someone that's got that sort of money come in, But, I don't know. It's
I mean, reading some of them comments even about the the Jack Wilshere thing and whatever, you'll get him off the wage bill, but you ain't going to get no money for him. I mean, you can't determine how many games he's going to play a season. He's clearly got a lot of injury worries, and I'm gutted for Jack because obviously I am one that and I've stood by the fact I've had a lot of stick for it on the Twitter and other social media and whatever that if he was fit and could prove it, I think he'd be a best midfielder by a mile. He's that creative body that maybe allows us to do something going forward and sort of get in support of the top man. I just think it's a bit negative going forward. Haller's obviously going to be frustrated. We get bodies up to him. We don't get him there in time. He wins headers, and maybe they should, be looking at 99.9% of the time he's going to win an header. I think Pellegrini's just got to look around and think, well, you know, if I'm not, maybe he's got to step aside. Maybe if he's got it about him to say, look, and what is more worrying is what Ryan said on Saturday at Burnley. He said, look, you know, at the end of the day, Pellegrini's never been in this situation, and I don't think he knows exactly how to sort of get out of that. He's a winner, isn't he? He's got a winner's mentality. He's always been playing around a lot better.
Well, you could have fucking fooled me.
well, yeah. I mean, but you'd argue that, you know, he's got to work with what he's got, and essentially he's doing that. But like you say, from the Oxford 4-0 game in the cup, and changing it all over, I mean, you know, you've got to come out and explain to me, like you say, Nick, you know, bringing out these players and giving them a go and all the rest of it. You can't be changing, you know, the mentality of a winning team and whatever, you know, that puts a bit of unrest in the camp. And yeah, it's difficult going forward, I think.
I honestly think, sorry, Dan, sorry.
No, that's all right.
I honestly think they've lost confidence in him. I think the cup game has sort of made a few people think, well, what the fuck's the point? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're going to go out this every year and get fucking smashed by these lower league clubs and all that. And like, we've had an Oxford fan trolling us in the comments for fucking weeks now, weeks and weeks and weeks. Every video we make, he puts in the comments. He'll probably put it on this one. Oxford's 4, West Ham 0. You know what I mean? He don't realise that this ain't nothing fucking new. I've seen worse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He could do with supporting us, really, couldn't he? He might have a bit more of an insight into what we go through every year, really.
Well, he obviously follows the channel.
Obviously, yeah. Well, ever since that performance, I'm not surprised. Mark B79 says, if Manuel Pellegrini leaves, do you trust Sullivan to make the right appointment? That's a good question.
No, no, not really. I mean, it's always a difficult one with managers to look at them and say, like, look, to know whether they'll do a good job and pick the right person. But, you know, it sort of came out, and when I was on TalkSport last night, Jason Cundy was coming out and mentioning it being a lazy appointment. And when you look at it now, then, you know, you probably could say that in terms of big name, you know, won the league with City, all of that. Like, he's sort of not put much thought into it. And I don't know whether he'll put much thought into it this time around, and he'll just go, right, this guy's available to skate.
This is an interesting comment before I get down to the next one. Ryan, Nicky and Marshy, all plastics, wanted Allardyce out, moaning it's boring. Now you got pretty football and you're still not happy, turning on the manager grin. Pathetic, says the unknown driller. Well, I'll tell you what, mate, I don't know whether you're a West Ham fan or what, but I'll tell you what, the stuff I'm watching down at West Ham ain't fucking pretty. That's for fucking sure.
It's boring. It is so boring, the football.
Unknown driller, just Pellegrini in. That's very interesting comment there.
It's honestly some of the most boring football I've seen there in ages, because it's just pass backwards, sideways, over and over.
There's another one here. There's another one. Beatbox Dre Beat says, West Ham Fan TV trying to turn the fan base on the manager again. I'm not trying to turn the fan base on anyone, man. I'm just giving my opinion.
I think a large percentage of the fan base, I think, are with us anyway, to be honest. I think when you see a manager and, you know, a lot of people say to us, well, you know, you support West Ham, what exactly do you want? Listen, what we want is people to stick that shirt on. And, you know, you want a manager, essentially, and I never see it in Pellegrini. If someone can tell me the last time he done it, then fair play to you, because I can't, and I go week in, week out. I mean, it's that passion. Do you know what I mean? It's a drive on the sideline. It's, you know, you see it in Sean Dyche, like when they're 3-0 up, he's out there still giving it some. He's giving them a rollicking. Guardiola does it with City. It's like it's not good enough still. And you're at a City level. And with our level, you want to see passion, commitment, desire. And we've lacked it ever since the Oxford game. And, you know, largely that is down to Pellegrini. I mean, who else is it going to be down to? It's down to him to motivate the players.
But on that, that beatbox Dre Beats or whatever, what kind of name is that, is saying, like, about us trying to turn the fan base on the manager, actually, the four of us were some of the last people to actually turn on the manager, because we'd done videos week in, week out, and the comments were mostly Pellegrini out before we was even saying anything about he maybe not be the right man. So the fan base, in fact, turned before us. And like for me, the turning point was Newcastle. That started to be to me where I was thinking, whoa, maybe he really ain't the right geezer.
It's like the last few weeks, it's just the team selection. As I say, you know, the comments from him against Sheffield United, which is, you know, it started to make it pretty obvious that he's not doing his own work on these teams. The team selection against Newcastle, the comments from John Joe Shelby that say, well, it's so easy to play against, it's unreal. You know what I mean? And that's fucking Newcastle. So you got
that's well with the John Joe Shelby thing. I mean, you know, when we lost to Wigan, you got people like Sullivan, who's making his choices, who's selecting his managers, who's got to give these managers the money. He's turning around saying things like, you know, Shelby's useless. He said it to my face and my old man at Wigan. We've just lost to Wigan 2-0, not good enough. Well, I'm sorry. Well, he's proven that he clearly isn't beating us 3-1, scoring the third goal, and us not doing nothing about it. I mean, I think it's just it's grabbing hold of the team and pulling your socks up and saying, "Look, come on, let's go." And I think even Ryan said it. A few other boys after the game just said it. I don't think he's not gonna be a manager to throw the shit against the wall and do all the rest of it to upbeat the players and to get them going again. But you know, if he wants to be in a relegation battle, I'm sorry, you know, he's not the right man. I did say after Burnley on Monday, I'll be amazed if he's still the manager on Monday, but apparently he's been given another 2 games, is it? Or 3 games, is that right?
It's all speculation, isn't it? Right. There are loads of comments coming in. We're going to get back to the comments in a minute. One more question from Snazzy TV. This is a good one for you, Marshy, because I know you're an advocate, supporter of fan channels. Nicky, what do you think of the fan channels that don't agree with the introduction of fan TV channels in general? I'll give my opinion first, and I'll chuck it to the boys. Look, we're not here to sort of like try and sway opinion or show that we're something that we're not. You know, we're a platform that gives everyday fans, normal fans, a platform to speak and to get heard by the people that are important, and that's fans. If people don't agree with that, that's up to them. But there are things that they will say to me that I don't agree with. Things like it's embarrassing. I mean, it's one of the most common complaints I see of fan TV channels. It's embarrassing. Well, who's it embarrassing? Because I'm not embarrassed. The person saying it isn't embarrassed. Why should you be embarrassed? I don't really understand that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? We do what we do. We've been doing it for a long time now, and we'll carry on doing it. I know some people don't agree with it or whatever, but then what gives? When you see these people in the press like Gary Neville and fucking Jamie Carragher and people like that saying, oh well, what gives them the right to say it? Well, what gives you the fucking right to say it? You got nothing to do with the club, you know what I mean? But
yeah, I think everyone's the same. I think at the end of the day, these people that say, is there a problem or whatever, are the ones that don't like it, they're spending enough time watching it. So at the end of the day, if you don't like watching it, no one's asking you to watch it. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Life is opinions, no one's always right, no one's always wrong. And as far as I'm concerned, anyone that's willing to put that extra mile in and put that extra work into, to create platforms such as this and various other, Premier League clubs and even lower league clubs do it. Hats off to that. Obviously we try and be as, the best open-minded that we can. And you do lose your edge. You want the team to do well. And, when you're not doing as well, it's going to be worse. A lot more people probably tune in. But, yeah, listen, everyone's fair play to everyone that does it. You boys, obviously, very welcoming to me. And I dare say I talk on behalf of the other boys who take part after the games and, away games as well. It's, listen, long may it continue. People that don't like it don't have to, don't watch it.
A lot of the one of the common misconceptions of us as well is that we sort of entice you and Dom and whoever to come in, and we've got our regulars, we speak to our regulars, and we don't speak to no one else. That's not the case. We welcome anybody and everybody. And if there's 50 people lining up for a fan cam after the game, I'll speak to every single one of them. And people will.
Yeah, without a doubt. I've had people come up to me before now that I don't think I've really seen on the fan cams. I've even said to the boys, look, these boys are very welcoming. They're nothing but that lovely, genuine people that just want to do a little bit more than what they're doing, and you're making a club more aware to people that it needs to be made aware to, and come on it. It's a platform to air your views and how you're feeling about the club, and largely I think people will sort of agree with you.
The thing is, I think the people that have a problem with it are the people that are intolerant of opinions that are other than their own, really, because that's the ones that the things when they call it embarrassing, when someone has an opinion different to theirs, like when Dom came out with the Man City thing. You might not agree with it. You might think it's ridiculous, but that's just another opinion. You've got to be able to accept that every single person can have a different opinion. It's not embarrassing. Someone might think that Pellegrini is the best manager we've ever had. I might think he's ridiculous, but that's fine. That's your opinion. That's what it's all about. You've just got to accept that, really.
I think this one's going to have a quick answer to this question from Welsh Hammer. Would any of you guys work for Gold or Sullivan?
How much is he paying?
Need we answer that?
How much is he paying?
I'm just going to say no.
Well, if he wants to,
definitely no.
If he offered you £1 million, right, for you're set for life.
Depends what I'm doing, doesn't it? You know what
I
I mean?
it all depends what you're doing, doesn't it? That's a big thing. It depends what you're doing. How much is he paying? Like, of course, in anything, the price has got to be right.
Chombre, do you believe the board will make the right decision dealing with Pellegrini, and why? Look, that's another quick one for me to answer. That the right thing. What's the right thing? It's down to opinion at the end of the day, and we can give our opinions, and Dan can give his opinion, Marshall can give his opinion, but at the end of the day, the opinion that matters is the chairman's opinion, and he will do what's right. I'm sure. Whether he's doing it for the right reasons for the football club is a different matter.
I think whatever it'll be financial. Just to add to that,
Zane Miasi's donated £1.99. We will give you Emery for Manuel. You take him. You can have him for free.
You can have him tomorrow for nothing. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I want Emery because it just seems like we'd be swapping a like for like because Emery seems to play the very same sort of football. Like he's got Aubameyang and Lacazette, and he ain't been getting them scoring goals. I mean, they should be banging in the goals, and they're struggling to score. Like we've got Allaire, and we ain't been banging in the goals. So we'd just both be swapping for the same situation, really.
Yeah, we've got no one to really do that.
Okay, next subject. What do we have on now? Can you read the title, Dan? Because I can't see it.
I'll get.
I can't even remember it.
It's on the tweet. I haven't even seen the title.
Go on, you look at the title while I read out this one. Hi, Nikki. I watched WHFTV from faraway Balkan. Thank you very much for watching. Everyone that's watching. Loads of people in the comments tonight. Nathan keeps on saying sack the board. Ollie PRJ said I can imagine our ball going for Emery. Didn't we want him a few years ago? I'm not sure about that. Ken Ammers, Pellegrini is a tactically inept dinosaur who don't change nothing and needs to go. What about as inspiring as a wet fish? Eddie Howe is the man to get if he would come. Is there anybody here that's pro Pellegrini? Because I'm not, for Pellegrini. I know Dan ain't. I know Marsh ain't. I want to hear from some pro Pellegrini. We'll come back to that subject.
There was that geezer who slated us a bit. He said Pellegrini in.
Roberto or Martin's the title.
Yeah. So, well, I think that's a moot point apparently because what I saw was Martin is just a training keeper apparently, and there's no intention of ever playing him in a competitive game. We only got him for the training ground, so it looks like we're stuck with Roberto.
What the fuck is that all about?
Yeah, I think we got him for the homegrown aspect, didn't we? But yeah, like Dan said, I read that as well. I read that he's more for the training and sort of warming up and getting the keepers ready.
Did you read that in Carrot and Hugh though?
Yeah.
Because a week ago they were saying that the fucking Martin's going to come in, so they don't know fuck all.
Yeah, Gio posted this thing, the two side-by-side articles saying that Martin is a cert to take over from Roberto. Then the next one was Roberto to keep his place. Like, so two
contrasting things.
It's got to be Martin. It's got to be. Look, the thing is, Roberto's been found out now. There's no doubt about it. You look at the Burnley game, man. He's been found out. He got found out against Newcastle, to be quite honest with you.
Well, it goes back to Oxford and things like we were sort of being patient with him in the League Cup games, and everyone was like, "Oh, give him a chance, give him time." But it goes back. He was making some really suspect moves back then, and it's just he's not improved. He's gotten worse. That's the thing.
I said after these defeats, though, boys. I said, look, is he even a goalkeeper? Is he fucking for real professional?
I think he's having a laugh.
I think what we see at Burnley, let alone Newcastle. I mean, I know the Balbuena was a rapist touch, but I mean, Jesus Christ, we'd already lost the game, and especially when we're singing like Fabianski songs and whatever, and then we're 3-0 down, he makes 3 quality saves. You're thinking, well, where are you for the?
I would genuinely, right? If this could be a fucking thing, I would genuinely, right? And I'll say this with my fucking chest as well, right? I would genuinely re-sign Ludic McCloskey before I put him back in goal. I would probably re-sign fucking Phil Parks.
Yeah.
I'm not being, did you see the comment? Did you see the comments from him as well in the week?
Yeah, he was a nice one. He reckons he's an outfield player that's having a game goal.
He don't hold back, Phil, does he?
Yeah, he reckons he probably doesn't. No,
Green must be available, isn't it? Rob Green.
Yeah, but like I said, though, boys, I said about that geezer, Michel Vaughan from Tottenham. Before he re-signed for Tottenham, he's a free agent. What are we doing? When they knew that Fabianski needed that surgery, surely you're thinking to yourself, how good is Roberto? Oh, yeah, we probably have got to give him a chance, but I'm not being funny. He hasn't done it in the cup games, like Dan said. Like, what makes anyone think he's going to do it in the league? And 2 games he's had of late have done nothing but prove what everyone's saying. Like,
I had sort of debates, arguments with people online when after we sold Adrian, we brought in Roberto and Martin because I questioned, these 2 keepers we're bringing in. People were saying how great business it was to bring in 2 keepers for less wages combined than what Adrian was on. But this is the thing, like, why could we not just get one, decent second backup keeper? Like, if you get an average.
Burnley have got 3 England goalkeepers on their books.
What a joke.
If you count Art, Pope, and Heaton,
Heaton, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Too many this summer, too much wages saved and all that shit. You know what I mean?
Well, like, look at Perez and Hernandez, right? Why do we let them go and only bring in some kid from the Swiss league? Like, that's madness. Perez now is obviously doing well in the Spanish league. I mean, it's probably a better league for him, but still, off the bench, he can score you goals. Hernandez, experience, scored in his last game for us.
I'll tell you now, we've got a goalkeeper at Thames Ironworks that's better than Roberto. I'm telling you now.
Sign him up.
Silver Hammer says, if Martin comes in and turns out to be worse than Roberto, then what? Team morale will be rock bottom. Manuel Pellegrini will lose the changing room. I don't think it can get any worse. I
don't think it's as serious as that, but it's just when a player, you have to be able to drop a player when he has that bad of a game. Because if a player can just, put in performances like that and know they can't be drops, then they're never going to get that motivation to improve. And there needs to be that competition. So you have to drop him and bring someone else in. And if he's worse, then, he gets dropped. And then Roberto has to come back in and we keep
Bird's Eye Onion says, I'd rather start Mr. Bean than Roberto against Spurs. We've got one here that's a pro Pellegrini, so I'm going to read this out. C. Forbes says, I stand by Pellegrini. I see what the fans are fuming at, and rightly so, but let's not kid ourselves. The first 8 games were tremendous. It can all change with a win versus Spurs.
I say on that first 8 games, Fabianski, I think, had the stat saying that he made more saves than any other keeper in the league during those first 8 games, which tells you everything you need to know about our defence. So if we didn't have Fabianski and Roberto was in goal, the chances are we'd be in the relegation zone. So paper over cracks, maybe.
Yeah, I totally agree. That don't paper over a crack. I think it definitely does. I mean, look at Fabianski. The last 6-7 games he's missed, 4 out of 6 we've lost and 2 we've drawn. So it says a lot of how good we miss him. How much we miss him.
This can't be true. Maria Nichols says Reed is playing tonight versus Ireland. Can anyone confirm that, please?
There's got to be.
He's playing us.
I knew that he was obviously there and in the training because that's what they were saying. You find it hard to.
What they were saying is there's a lot of youngsters in the squad, and they wanted to bring him into the squad to sort of introduce him because he's sort of like the captain. If he's playing tonight, that's a fucking joke. West Ham should, honestly, if he gets injured, West Ham should
sack him off.
Him.
He's another Carroll, don't mate. I'm not being funny. He was blinding before, wasn't he? But I mean, having that same sort of similar injury to Carroll, and then being best mates out for the same period of time when it first kicked off, and then having recurrence of other injuries or the same injury, like his recovery was halted or whatever. And like you say, if he's in that team tonight, it's just.
Well, I've just seen one post. Someone said about it. It's nothing. I haven't seen nothing official yet, but there's a few posts about people saying it, reacting to it. So I guess it's looking like it's true.
Jay Gosden, he must be a Spurs fan, says your mugs, your cup final. Well, at least we win our cup finals, Jay. That's what I would say.
They don't even get to them, do they?
Andy, they got the one and they lost.
Semis. Yeah.
Andy Sylvester says Reed is in the New Zealand side. I know he's in the side, but Hammerschat just said, yeah, he's definitely playing, lads. That's fucking shocking. That's shocking. Jeez. Nearly 2 years out as manager, and he's going to go and play international football. That is shocking.
Wow.
West Ham Fan TV, not only is he playing, he's captain.
Yeah, so I mean, has he been injured these past couple of weeks? Has he been ready to play? What's the deal?
He come back pre-season, and then he just disappeared. I don't know. I'm assuming he's been injured all this time, and if he's fucking playing for New Zealand after 18 months, he's not playing a competitive game. It's over 18 months, isn't it? It's over that.
Yeah, I mean, he picked up that injury, didn't he, with Carroll when they?
I think it's over that.
April 18, wasn't it? April 17. No, that'd be 2.5 years. April 18.
17,
he got injured. Oh God, that's stupid.
I think it's getting on for that though, isn't it? I think it's gone 18 months. But I mean, I don't think he wouldn't get in our team anyway.
Not at the minute, no. Not at the minute. He's been injured first game back. Yeah, he has been injured, mate. Been injured for a fucking long time. And the last and not least on our subject list tonight, before we'll still go to the comments and stuff, so we've still got a little while left. VAR. So there's a comment come out tonight about VAR, saying that from next month they'll be making it more accessible to fans inside the stadium. So they're trying to change VAR. Will it change your position on VAR?
I mean, I don't think that's been the main problem with VAR. The main problem is the VAR.
They're looking at the screens and they're fucking getting it wrong. That's what.
Well, yeah. Well, it's the fact a lot of the time it's these VAR officials not wanting to overrule the refs when the refs make a poor decision. So that's the big problem.
About VAR, right? This was the mandate when it was VAR, right? To help a referee, to assist the referee with clear and obvious errors. With clear and obvious errors. If they've got to sit and look at something for 4 minutes, it's not clear and obvious error. So just let that go. You know what I mean? If you can't see it on the first or second replay, just say, well, no, I can't see nothing. Like this armpit thing. Like even when it comes to City, the Sterling one, when he was like a toe offside. The one at the weekend against Sheffield United, which was another, the geezer on the other side of the pitch was offside. It's like, it's mental. It's fucking mental. And then you've got ones like the Salah one that was offside. And and you know, if you know, it's not clear and obvious. I wouldn't even say it's clear and obvious. So I would have probably give that as long as you'd give the other ones. You know what I mean? But that was offside. It was offside, and they got it wrong. I can't see how they're getting it wrong.
And in the handball against Trent Alexander-Arnold, that was quite blatant.
I'm 50-50 on that. I see a lot of people making a bit of
twice there as well, wasn't it? 2 handballs.
It was 2 handballs, yeah. But the first one, the ball flicked off of Silva's hand already.
Yeah, but so where it flicked off at his hand, though, Silva's hand was down at his side. You probably wouldn't call that a handball. But if that hits his hand,
but that's it, the rule is if attacking player or defending player, if the ball comes off the hand in any way, even if it's accidental, it's a penalty or it's given as a free kick.
The problem is, though, you see him given outside the 18-yard box.
Yeah,
when you get in the final third,
I want it gone. Like that's my opinion. I want it out. I want it out next month.
But the problem is, it's ruining
the whole showing it on the screen.
Say again, mate. It's ruining the whole experience of a game. I mean, when you're
ruining the spectator sport.
When you're away from home, especially, I think obviously, you know, like we've had it at West Ham, haven't we, with like Palace and whatever, with the RU goal. You know, like the ball got squared over. I think Koyate, I think it was, if it was him that was offside, and RU was never offside at any point in the break. And then you know, it's a delayed. The supporters celebrating like they've scored, and then do you celebrate? Do you not? You know, it all compiles into a bad sort of matchday experience, I think.
Fabianski's brought up a subject. Nikki, I haven't seen anyone mention this tonight, but I think the main thing that has had the effect on our form has been losing Antonio.
Yeah, I think he's been a massive loss. But for me, the problem is with things like that. I'm not saying he's making excuses, but we should never be like 1 or 2 injuries away from complete oblivion. Like whereas you lose a couple of players and that's it, you're just free falling down the table. There should be a plan in place, and he needs to be able to cope and adapt to losing players. But yeah, I think he was definitely one of our best players before he got injured, and it's a shame. And I'm glad to have him back for Tottenham, but we're still very. How can we be so vulnerable where you lose? I mean, Antonio weren't even playing the full 90 minutes either. He was playing like one half each game, and they were the best halves that we had. So
it was Newport we got injured, wasn't it?
Yeah, early on into the game.
Yeah,
right early on. Right, done his
I agree totally. I
hamstrings.
think players like that, players like that we lose, we can't seem to. I mean, you look at the better sides in the league. I think we touched on it earlier. I mean, all this thing about breaking into the top six, are we good enough for Europa? This is a year to do it. If we haven't got not like for like replacements, but people like Antonio on the top of his game, probably arguably playing some of the best footballs, prior to the injury, scoring a few goals, important ones as well, like at Tottenham, the back end of the other season. You haven't got players to come in that can do a sort of job, if you know what I mean, and that's where we fall down as well. I think we haven't got that. We haven't got that player that can come in, like you see the bigger teams and even teams around us, like the Leicesters, like the Evertons. You get injuries to a couple of players, and they got better players pound for pound that come in, and it doesn't even make it look like you're missing the starting boy. Like it's tough.
As 03 says, do you think Nathan Holland and Trott should be called up next week against Spurs? They both looked good in the match the other day. Trott's on loan, isn't he?
Trott's on loan at Wimbledon, isn't he? He's gone to Wimbledon, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he is.
I don't think. Yeah. Somebody said Ben Johnson needs a chance.
He's been injured, I think, as well.
Yeah, I think.
He's had a layoff, hasn't he? But I mean, listen, I don't disregard the kids at all. I still stand by the mentality that this is obviously the best league in the world. It's at top highest level in the country, and these players do need to get given a chance. And I think some of us even said it Saturday at Burnley, like, what have we got to lose? Well, we haven't really, but then you have also got that concern of playing around players that have vast experience, and these younger ones haven't. The only way to get it is to play the games, obviously, but you then run the risk of getting battered even further than we are each week, and that's not their fault. But then they need to develop. I'm on the fence with that one. It's tough to decide, I think.
Yeah, Dan, anything to add?
No, I mean, I just think with the young players are, I think will give you probably at the moment a little bit more fight and passion and things like that. But if we had the chance, even if we had the chance to play Trott, I don't know if now's the time I would throw him in, because really is a high pressure situation, and that could really ruin him, because the way the defense is as well, he's going to be facing a lot of shots. So I'd rather just wait until Fabianski gets back and then hopefully bring him in at a good time.
Absolutely. The Wizard of Doom says you lot are the East End version of Arsenal.
We're parallel. We're parallel.
Listen, that's totally right. It's like symmetrical. Looking at us, you look at them. It's I had this chat with my best mate last night. For a bite to eat. He's an avid gooner, like we are West Ham, obviously, and he was saying, look, there's no real difference. I mean, the quality speaks for itself, but then it's all in the managerial thing as well. Like Dan said, if you got Lacazette and Aubameyang, and they're not doing it, why are they not doing it? Because they're low on confidence and morale's down in the group. They've got the Xhaka thing.
Not creating enough chances like us.
Yeah, we don't create enough chances, but then we haven't got that mentality to drive forward. I've said we've been missing it for weeks and months even. We get the ball up to the top man very well. No problem with that. Even if it's like an Allardyce type thing, route one straight up to the top. But there's no one concentrating behind to think, well, I'll run in behind. But yeah, he's totally right with that.
The HHD Totally Football podcast does Holland remind you of Joe Cole when he was younger? I'm going to be honest, mate. No, nothing like him. I went to watch when I was growing up. I was in my early teens, mid-teens, when Joe Cole was starting to break through in the youth teams. And I used to go and watch quite a bit of youth football because it always used to be at Upton Park. It was free for season ticket holders, and being a teenager, I didn't have a lot to do. And I'll tell you something now, right? The things I used to see Joe Cole do with a football, I honestly thought he was going to be the new Maradona. This is the God's honest truth. I honestly thought that, because the things I saw him do at 14, 15, 16-year-old in games was ridiculous. And I mean ridiculous. Like, I've never seen anything like it.
I can see what he's trying to say. I mean, obviously, when Holland played in that cup game, didn't he? The Oxford drubbing. He didn't seem to be scared. He's a bit of a rabbit in headlights at the start. I think when the older, when the more senior boys brought him in and, sort of ducking and diving, beating a player, I can half see where he's coming from. But I think Joe Cole's like another level of that, I think.
The one thing just on Joe Cole, actually, the way his sort of career was at the end, like, I mean, not like right, but even later on, like, he weren't sort of in the Chelsea side on a consistent basis. And you wonder if maybe he left West Ham too early, because his career didn't quite go to the heights that you would expect to go, like where Frank Lampard went.
Well, I think that's a bit to do with it's a bit to do with our relegation season with Joe Cole. I think too much responsibility was put on him. He was a captain in the relegation season. I think he was 21 or 22. And if people remember rightly, this was, 2003 we're going back to, aren't we? 2002, 2003.
We went down, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was one of them people that everybody was playing like wankers, and he was one rolling up his sleeves, getting involved in the tackle, getting stuck in and all that, become very defensive mindedly. Too much responsibility put on him. And that put a halt on his sort of development as a flair player. And then he went and joined fucking Jose Mourinho's Chelsea. So
yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like any sort of flair that he had in him, he did have flair. He had it natural, but any sort of chance he had to become that sort of like free flowing number 10 that would like a Gascoigne or someone like that was totally fucking knocked out of him by.
I think anyone going over to the likes of Chelsea at that time, though, you've seen it, ain't you? Scott Parker, Wright Phillips, Joe Cole.
Yeah.
You've seen all that same sort of player.
But I just said 1-0 England. We're going to have to get off in a minute because people are going to go and watch the England game, I think.
Yeah. Rice scored, does he?
It was the Ox.
Oh, the Ox. I'll tell you what, he's playing very well.
Yeah. I've got Ireland v New Zealand game. What noticing on Reed that our centre backs don't do is direct the rest of his defence, even if it's just passing the ball. That's a good point. That he is a good leader, at the back.
Maybe that is what we're lacking a bit, isn't it?
He was one of our best players, wasn't he? That 2017 season, I think that last season he played, he was unreal, and then he got injured. So it's a real shame.
That seems to happen a lot to us, though, doesn't it? Like Antonio this season, like Noble just now. I don't know how serious that is. Lanzini, we Arsenal again, much like us, with that just injury crocs all the time, and it's just a shame that happens to us, really.
We'll start wrapping it up now, boys. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone in the comments, but thank you too so much for joining us tonight. Hopefully, we'll do it again. I think this was a good little freeway.
Yeah. It was good.
Been involved in a freeway before, anyone?
Listen, I'll keep that under wraps.
No comment there.
I enjoyed it. I think it was a good chat. Like I said, lots to talk about, and yes, there will be a West Ham week tomorrow.
Yeah, I appreciate you inviting me, boys. It means a lot.
No, we'll invite you back, mate. We're starting a podcast soon. That'd be fantastic. That Ghost Clip said I subbed. Thank you very much for subbing. I just wanted to see someone else. Someone else asked for a shout out as well. Where is he gone? So I got to do it. I don't want to leave him out. Fucking hell, he's gone.
Type it again if you wanted that shout out. You quickly.
Armo says, "Hey guys, it's my birthday. Can I get a shout out, please?"
Happy birthday, Armo.
Yeah,
Armo,
happy birthday, mate. Nathan the Challenger subbed as well. If you're new around here, please hit the subscribe button, bell notification.
Go and 50k, mate.
Nearly, we've got a race to 50k. We've got loads of stuff coming up in the new year and stuff. We've got fucking lots of plans, so keep subbed. We'll be back here every Thursday with this. We're going to be starting a podcast, as I say. That would be fantastic. Get Ryan. Someone said get Ryan on them as well. 4-way. Jesus, can't handle that. Ryan's off today because he's sick. He's come down with illness.
He's sick of West Ham, mate. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's probably what it is. Yeah, and we've got his stag do this weekend, so we want to get him nice and better. We can't be keeping him up late.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV Live and Uncut. Thank you to my guests, Dan Lawless and Nick Marsh. We'll see you soon, boys. Follow us on Snapchat, Instagram, all the social media at West Ham Fan TV. You'll find us on everything now. Check out our T-shirts. The link in the description down below. I've got one on. Good. I know Marshy bought one.
I did buy one. I should have put it on. I'm on call at work, so I need to.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, it'll be on next time.
So that's it. Thank you very much. Link in the description down below for the T-shirts. Christmas jumpers coming soon. Christmas jumpers coming
involved with
very,
that.
very,
Get involved.
very soon. So yeah, fantastic. One thing left to say, boys. Come on, you irons.
Come on, you irons.